I think serial killers are people with some messed up bits of code in their heads that are a leftover from our more predatory ancestors. I've personally had some experience with a serial killer in my hometown if anyone is interested. It's not your typical X story, but it's still interesting enough. I was going up for a hike in these canyons like I normally do a couple of times a month. It's a great spot and good for exercise. There is an old train bridge that goes across a ravine at some point. I say old, but it has been rebuilt recently. Anyhow, I decided to explore underneath the bridge and see what's down there. There's a lot of old abandoned rusty parts from construction, beer bottles, and a camping chair for some reason. I can hear what I'm pretty sure is people talking, / walking up above. At some point I hear what sounds like a cry for help, so I shout back and get a response. I run closer, but then there's a crash and a thud in the trees up ahead of me. I push through the bush as fast as I can, very slowly, and find the body lying there. I will spare you any gruesome details, but to say the least, the injuries were incompatible with life. I shout up for help, but they either don't answer or can't hear me. I freak out and try to call 911, but this place is pretty remote and cell service is mostly non-existent. At this point, I'm not sure whether to move the body with me to the trail or leave it where it is. I decide it's probably a bad idea to mess with a potential crime scene, and plus, I don't want to get all bloody or carry a gross, disgusting mangled corpse around. As I head back to the path, I can hear twigs and branches snapping in the distance. It's pretty much impossible to move in thick brush without making any noise. This person was trying, but without a whole lot of success. I immediately got a flash of oh shit when I realized that they might not have friendly intentions. It's hard to explain, but just the way that they were moving. It sounded like they were trying to make as little noise as possible. So, why would someone be doing that? And right after someone calling for help fell off the bridge. And after I had been screaming for someone to help. Fight or flight response kicked in. I sort of ignored my instinct and went for an intermediate option. I went a ways back into the brush and hid myself while still having a decent vantage point of the area that the body had fallen in. The noise coming through the brush got closer and closer, and after about 5 minutes I could see someone walking down the slope towards the body. Their clothing was not remarkable. I honestly don't even remember what they were wearing. As for a description, I'm really not the best kind of person for that. I don't really remember specific details much like that, so all I can really say is that the guy was not very tall, probably around 40-ish years old, and had some sort of a hat on. The clothing was muted. No bright colors, but it was still easy to see him. The guy walks up to the body and looks all around, probably looking for me. When he can't find anything, he goes back to the body, starts examining the wounds. The main thing I remember about his manner is that it was predatory. His walk, his posture, it all screamed to me that this man was a predator. The man pulled a small folding spade out of his backpack and proceeded to drag the body further into the forest. I could tell he had done this before, just on the basis of how confident and assured he seemed to be. I waited for the noise to fade away, then got up and moved as quietly as I could back toward the trail that leads back down to the park entrance where my car is. It took me about 4 hours to get there, so it's not exactly an easy hike back. After a certain point, I stopped trying to be quiet and just sort of half run / jog the best that I can through the tangle of trees and brush, dead logs, and uneven terrain. It takes me a little while, but I get back to the trail. So I take a quick breather before heading back up the slope to the main trail. That is when I hear a sound. It's faint, barely noticeable, but I am always paranoid for bears and cougars on hikes, so I have a pretty good ear for these kinds of things. I sort of realized all at once that this guy was a lot smarter than I had given him credit for. That he somehow knew I would be watching, or saw me, and pretended to walk off to bury the body, to give me a false sense of security. My first instinct is to just dash down the trail like a moron, running and screaming for help. I came so close to doing that. If I had, I honestly think I wouldn't be here today to tell the story. The whole thing is a bit of a blur in my mind, but I recall thinking about how he had outsmarted me, and basically tricked me into thinking he had not seen me, while he followed me covertly. Thinking about it, I wondered just how long he'd known I was there. He probably had seen or heard me from the top of the bridge, maybe watched me for a while when he came down. It's hard to say because this is all stuff I'm thinking of in retrospect, but it was clear in the moment that he had outsmarted me because I had underestimated him and that he was much more dangerous than I had first anticipated. He was moving with uncanny silence now. If I had not been aware of him, I would not have heard him at all. I actually had not heard him at all for a few minutes, and I was scared that he was way too close for comfort at this point. So, rationally, assuming he couldn't catch or kill me if I ran away was dumb. The smartest way to play it would be to pretend I didn't know he was following me. So I made a show of being upset and scared, and trying to make a call on my phone. Of course, there was no service, before going back up the trail. As the trail reaches the top of the canyon, it continues along in various straight stretches for quite a ways. Basically, it's hard for someone to sneak up on you because it is a big long straight gravel trail and more of a gravel road than anything else. I actually see 4x4 vehicles driving on it every now and then. I have a really good feeling he is behind me, but I am too afraid to turn and look behind me because then I think he'll know I know he's following me. But at the same time, maybe not looking is suspicious too. But I pretty much decide to keep on walking ahead. Hurried pace, but not too fast, even though my heart is pounding like a jackhammer. After a while of walking, I take out my phone and pretend to try and make another call on it, but I actually take a quick sneak peek at the reverse camera / selfie thing on the camera app, and I am able to confirm that he is in fact on the trail, following behind me. I am a few minutes away from a full-blown panic, and still trying to stay as normal as possible while this killer is stalking behind me. Does he have a gun? If he has a gun, he could be shooting me at any moment. It could be just lights out. My life shut off without me even having the courtesy of hearing the bullet before it disconnects my brain. Should I just charge him? Try to ambush or surprise him? Is he waiting for something? When is he going to make his move? What the fuck should I be doing? That's pretty much the shit that was going through my head. I had no idea what I was going to do. Then I had the thought that he knew that I knew that he was following me. What if I'd underestimated him again? What was he planning? I'm not sure if it was adrenaline or fear that caused the response, but something just sort of clicked inside of me. I realized that this guy was a predator and that he was familiar with the chase. He delighted in the fear of his victims. He could probably read the fact that I knew he was following, based on my body language. He could probably tell that I was terrified out of my mind, and he was probably getting off on it. So, I did the one thing that he would never have expected. I stopped, turned around, and started walking towards him. I don't know where I got the confidence from, but it came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, I was not scared. I was angry. I was furious. I was the opposite of scared. He was obviously a bit confused, as he stopped walking to stare as I came toward him. As I came further, I pulled out the 6-inch book knife that I keep on me for bears, tossed it off to the side like it was worthless as I kept walking towards him. I'm not sure why I did that, even now. I was basically acting on pure, primal instinct at that point. The memories I have of it are almost in third person, like I'm watching someone else. In any case, whatever the reason, I tossed my knife away, screamed at the top of my lungs while pounding my chest, and charged him at full speed. I was around 20 feet away from him when he pulled what I think was a gun out of his waistband. I am honestly not sure, because I never got a good look at it. If it was a gun, maybe the safety was on, it jammed, or it was fake. God knows. All I remember from that point is slamming into him, wrapping my arms around him in a bear hug. I had about 4 to 5 inches on him height-wise, and probably around 50 pounds in weight. I don't remember how long the struggle lasted, but it ended when I chucked him off the side of the path into the ravine, which was at this point of the trail an extremely steep slope that was basically 800 feet nearly straight down to the riverbed. You've probably heard of the adrenaline giving you a shit ton of strength thing, and I am absolutely certain it's true, because I literally picked him up over my shoulder and tossed him a good 10 feet straight out from the path before he began to fall. I saw the whole thing in slow motion as I did it. The panic and fear in his eyes, the struggle, the panic, the flailing as he began to fall. Weirdly enough, I had a boner afterwards. Stress and rage boner's a thing. Who fucking knows? Anyway, I took a while to collect myself, and then I just kept on walking back to my car. And yes, I still hike there to this day, because fuck letting that dickhead take my favorite hiking spot from me. This story happened in the Toiyabe National Forest. Anyone familiar knows strange shit happens up there. I typed this out and I feel it should get a bit of a preface as well, and since someone will miss it, I do not smoke anymore, and stoners, please don't invade, I hate that shit. Here we go. Earlier this year, I took 2 very good friends camping. Neither knows shit about shit in the woods, even though we live in a really rural part of CA. They spend a lot of time on Chan and Vidya, and don't get out much other than when they're with me. Last April, I had an urge to go in the woods. Friend 1 is bro to your bro, who is always down for anything no homo. Friend 2 is his older brother, and while still down for adventure, he is that guy in the free man group. The guy who won't eat out of cast iron cookware. The guy who won't eat charred meat. The guy who doesn't think four-wheeling through mud and snow on your friend's dime is not fun. You know, that guy. At this time, we were all pot smokers as well. Friend 1 will be called 1 from here on out, and I don't get paranoid or slow or anything, but friend 2, who I will name 2, is the classic bad stoner stereotype. Gets super paranoid, speech goes to shit, gets aggro really easy, and can't follow a simple conversation for the life of him. I have since stopped smoking and drinking to put on muscle and live healthier. So we leave. Road trip 4 hours up I-80 towards Reno. My plan is to take a random detour and end up lost in the woods, because why the fuck not? We are men with guns and a 4x4. End up in Verde, Nevada, which most tourists and idiots refer to as Boomtown, because of its casino, I guess. It's like midnight when we get into Verde. 1 and I are tired as fuck. He was my co-pilot the whole time. 2 crashed in the back after the last joint. When we woke him, all he did was say, "Why the fuck are we out here? We should go to Reno. Reno is better. There are casinos in Reno." Shit like that. I already told 1 that my plan is to get lost in some unfamiliar woods. He is down, but we don't tell 2, because he would suggest to go to Reno and get a motel, not on his dime. So we go for Verde, a small little town that is literally on the California-Nevada state line and is on the border of high desert and coniferous forest. See 2 pairs of headlights behind me. Think what do if a cop or a warden. Don't give a fuck because guns are in cases and weed is hidden well. I just keep driving. Woods are close. My nugget senses are tingling. Sure enough, I see a Smokey the Bear sign, look left, and in my headlights see, now entering Toiyabe National Forest, to which 1 and I share a, "Fuck yeah, woods, woo!" No sleeping on the side of the road and getting fucked by the I-80 killer. Stop for a second and get out to stretch and piss. Fuck, that felt great. 2 is asleep again. See headlights still coming. Decide that since there is only 1 way on from here, to let them pass me, since I don't know what lies ahead. I realize now that this was possibly a bad decision, because ambush. The first vehicle is a super nice Jeep, the kind people like me salivate over, like a well-furnished AR or AK, enough to get the job done, but not overly tactical. The second vehicle is a large Ford or Dodge or Chevy van. I could not identify by headlight or taillights, because I was too busy taking in the amount of 4x4 work done to this. Slightly lifted, brush guard, light rack on top, has the goods all over it. Seems like a neat SHTF van to me. In my mind DEFCON 4 just in case. Continue on. The road turns to gravel and is bumpy as fuck. There are those ruts that form because douchebags drive down them at 45 plus miles per hour. I am going like 10 to 15 miles per hour in 4 high because unfamiliar territory at night. Notice that the lights of the vehicles ahead of me went out once they were about a quarter to half a mile ahead and after about 1 minute of driving. This strikes me as odd because of the light setups that each vehicle had. They are made for this kind of shit. I satisfy myself with nods as my conclusion and that rednecks have too much money. I discuss with 1. The lack of lights struck him as odd as well. 2 wakes up because of bumps, asks where we are. I say deep in the woods, though we are not deep at all. He shits himself and keeps looking out the window. Fast forward about 40 minutes. It's now nearing 1 AM. One and I are tired as fuck. See a 4x4 trail that goes off to the left. Drive up to trailhead. There is a slight berm at the beginning, which I have always took to mean, if you can't get over this, don't go around it, because your truck cannot handle this trail. I get out to check closer. I confirm that I can go over with no problem. Then notice two really fresh tread patterns, very well defined. Deduce that it is fresher than someone who went wheeling in that day. I conclude that it was the Jeep and the van. Figure people who go in the woods at midnight want to be left the fuck alone, because I do. I turn around, proceed down the main trail. Next time I get the chance, I turn left down another trail, probably around 1 mile down. Keep going up the trail. We pass the snow line. Know that we're in for a cold night. Keep going until the trail gets sketchy for me, with my beta tier 4 runner. No light rack. I am not about to drive my buddies off of a cliff. I park on the other side of a very large tree. The tree has the truck very well. This was unintentional. I just thought it was all cool and funny that two would not be able to get out to pay, since I blocked his door with said tray. Lights out. 2, 1 and I smoke before bed. Finish. 2 crashes in the back seat. 1 and I are uncomfortable as fuck, trying to sleep in fucking Toyota seats reclined. I estimate that maybe 5 to 10 minutes pass, and I hear something like an engine. I nudge 1. He is still awake. I say listen up. I openly declare DEFCON free because why not? After about another 5 minutes, the engine starts to idle. I crack my window to hear better. Very quickly after this, light is fucking everywhere. I just got them chilly feels down my spine recounting this. I will never forget. It was the neat Jeep we had seen earlier. DEFCON fucking 2. Light bars everywhere. Light bars on roof, light bars on hood, light bars on grill, light bars in each wheel well, light bars on sides and back. I would normally think about how this guy is smart, but mall ninja, but loves situational awareness, but now I am thinking, what the fuck is going on here? I realize I am silent and breathing quietly. 1 is as well. I tell him it's the same Jeep from a while ago. He replies that he is shitting bricks and asks if this is normal. I tell him no, it's really fucking weird. But to calm down, because we are armed, there is 3 of us, and to quietly wake up too, even though we're in my truck. Jeep starts up, does a circle. There is now a person in the passenger side, operating a spotlight. At first I think maybe game warden, but what fucking game warden drives expensive ass Jeeps into the woods at midnight in front of a very unique cargo van? 2 plus 2 does not equal 4 in this case. Oh fuck guys, what is going on? Is the FBI onto us? 2 just really woke up at this point. Nah man, I don't know, but my senses tell me it's not good. Hand me the small gun case from back there. The long gun case is under a bunch of shit in the back, so I'm effectively now just 1 gun. I take out a shit tier Taurus .357, load with silver tip HPs, put a few more in each front jacket pocket, probably 3 to 4 each. The Jeep is still spotlighting. I think they are either looking for us or poaching. I am hoping so hard it is just poachers. At this point, I realize how effective this tree is concealing my truck. Like, holy shit, there is not a bit of my truck's shadow that is passing the tree's shadow, as these guys light shit up all around. I tell 1 and 2 to stay put. I need to hear what might be going on. I slowly open my door and get out in a crouch. It's actually pretty fucking cold, but my adrenaline is spiked and my heart is thumping hard. I worry about my shot if shit goes bad. I crawl under the truck to the base of the tray, then left around the tray just enough so I can get an eye on the Jeep. It seems like a half hour passed while I was watching them. It was probably more like 1 or 2 minutes in total. The guy stops spotlighting, then the truck goes black again. Inline 6 is idling once more. I hear 2 distinct male voices, middle-aged I would say, recounting to the best of my memory. You sure you seen the track go up this way? Yeah, I know I seen the truck, but it stopped a ways back. May not be them. But what if it was? They could have seen something. That truck was a piece of shit. Probably nothing to worry about. Tell that to the judge if we are found. You can have the life sentence. I am 100% sure I heard that sentence verbatim. I am breaking OPSEC, by the way. This was the truck. They may remember or may not. Well, it's my truck. I think we should go higher up and come back. Okay, your call. I watch as the truck continues on, but my eyes are still fucked from all of them lumens. Keeps going on up the trail. I didn't want to. After a minute of hearing them leave, I operate back into truck and ask 1 and 2 if they heard what was said. 1 replies barely. 2 is shitting Roman tier road cobble that makes normal bricks looks like little baby poo. I retell the conversation to 1 and 2. 2 is now shitting MRE tier poo bricks, makes Roman cobble look like baby poo. 1 asks if we should get out of there. I tell him in any other circumstance, fuck yes, but I think this tree just saved our lives, no shit. 1 calls BS on that. 2 is speechless. I believe he thought he was having a weird dream. I tell 1 I legitimately believe we may be in danger, which is weird since on the way up we joked about getting ass fucked by the I-80 murderer. Realize that with me warning friends about possible life danger, that I/we should indeed nope the fuck out. I don't want to hit my lights on at all, front or rear, so I take out my brake light fuse from under the dash. I proceed back down the trail, slowly, blacked out on a no-moon night in the middle of the forest. I have to make a decision. Go right, go back to town, past the trail I suspect the jeep came from and where the van may be, or go left, deeper into the woods, into parts unknown once more. I think for a second. I decide I would rather die in the woods than in an unfamiliar town. I don't ask friends to vote. We dictator now. I drive down the dark forest road. I keep going more. The road goes down a big-ass hill. The valley in OP is where the road ended up. I'm sure some of you are familiar. At the bottom of hill, turn right. Keep going. Shit's like 2:30 to 3 a.m. at this time, but I am alive. I see through the bush what looks like a small campfire. Decide I want more people near me all of a sudden. Make another silly decision and risk approaching campsite at 0:30. Bet plays out well. 2 guys at camp. Weird though. They are outside right now. See Subaru out back. Decide to follow through because lol, murderers are not as bad as a Subaru. I get out. Dudes ask what the fuck our problem is. We are ruining the night. I was still running lights out, so it was probably very fucking weird for them. I can relate. I roll down window and say, sorry dudes, but some really weird shit just went down up on the mountain. We are freaked the fuck out and need a new place to crash. Guys discuss for a moment, then say fuck it. You can stay if you tell us what happened. Cool. Drive over next to Subaru. 2 has crashed again. 1 and I bundle up and hop out. Tell newfound bros spooky fucking story. They don't call BS. In fact, 1 gets an AR from said Subaru and loads a mag. Hopefully not because of me. End up being fellow freedom-loving CA bros from Plumas Co. CA. They had a nice top-tier telescope and was stargazing. Asked me if we toked. I say yeah. Then asked 1 if he tossed the weed when we thought there was a warden. He pulls it out of his pocket, smoke a few joints between the 4 of us, and stargaze a bit before the new bros rack it out. 1 and I decide to get back into my truck. Tell him we will sleep in shifts. He goes to sleep. After a while of rolling around on Toyota seats, I end up staying up all night. Nothing to report of consequence for the rest of the night. Keep thinking the Jeep guys had nods because of how fast they drove lights out. Paranoid for rightful reason for rest of night, thinking Charlie can see me, but I can't see him. And this must be what Nam was like. Get a few hours of sleep after daybreak, with 1, while 2 makes breakfast. 2 is the only one awake. Subaru bros sleeping in as well. Brought 2 pounds of bacon for the trip. There were 5 strips of bacon left when 1 and I really woke up. What the fuck, 2? Lol, you guys should have woken up for breakfast. Check rations. Dude ate eggs and 1.8 pounds of bacon. That's really got me. Not sure if I will ever forgive him. I bitch for a second about the bacon, then realize all that shit that went down was real. When Subaru guys awaken, we ask them to come check out this strange ass area with us. 1 says yeah, the other says no. Both end up coming along. Okay, so for those of you still awake, I'm not going to green text this last bit. We proceed to the original trail, the one with the berm. I drop the Yoda into 4-low and continue. After about 2 miles of pretty rough trail, we come to this off little clearing with a small fire pit in the middle, and fresh AT tread tire tracks all around. 2 different tread patterns, except for a 10-foot diameter around the pit, where all the dirt looked freshly swept, I guess. No snow, no shoe prints, no nothing. Here is where shit gets really weird. There was a tree near the side that had blood splatter all over it, from knee to neck height, just very red blood. That shit was unnerving as fuck, and caused Subaru bros to get the fuck out of there, but I gave them a ride up. After a few more minutes of investigation, I concluded some weird shit went down last night, and I am glad that we got away when we did. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. Since the story I told wasn't very cool or interesting, I will tell the story of a friend that I know. 18 or 19 years old at the time. Go on holiday to Greece with friends. Go to a nightclub, meet this guy, make out with him. He invites her back to his place, and she says she shouldn't, cause she is with her friends. Guy says okay, and gives her his number and address if she ever wants to go around. She never meets up with him in the week she is there, and comes home a few days later. A short while after she gets back, she develops this mad rash on her face. Goes to the doctor to get it checked out. Doctor says it's some kind of fungus or disease that you get from exposure to corpses. She freaks out. The doctor asks her who she's been with lately. She mentions this guy in Greece, and when the police get involved, she gives them his address and number. The Greek police get contacted. They raid his house. There are dead bodies everywhere. The guy had been having sex with them and killing them, not necessarily in that order. TLDR, the girl that I knew was nearly killed and assaulted while on holiday. My face went. She laughed as she told me the story. I've told this story before. It's been capped and can be found somewhere else, but I lost all of my saved files a long time ago. I will give a quick skim over it, as it was a scary case story, and it's a sunny day, and I am not in a next mood. I live in Maine. I planned a mission of traveling around a part of the state. I traveled through the woods. The only reason was to see if I could travel so far with minimal equipment and no human interaction. I am making my travels. I see police cars driving by at high speed on the first day. I duck behind a log so as not to be seen. Nearly a whole convoy rolls by. I wonder about carrying on my travels. I bait and capture a couple of rabbits. I kill them. I skin, cook, and eat one. I put the other 2 in the bag. I create a makeshift axe for crude structure building. No tent brought. I find an abandoned-ass rusty car. Get into back seat and sleep in the car overnight. Fox howling, bird screams, nothing out of the ordinary. Fud, fud, fud. 3 bangs hit the car's hood. I point my flashlight in the general direction. Nothing. Probably just a fox jumping across the hood. I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning to find my axe slapped dead center into one of the rabbits, its pelt removed, and some of its meat gone. I presume animals, but the axe is scary. I keep traveling over that day. I hear screams and running in a small dip in the scenery around me. I crawl over. Remember, no human contact. I see someone running down the hill opposite side of the dip into the center. The person stops, looks around, and then heads up the hill towards where I am. I bolt it. I made a safe distance and carry on walking. I keep on walking. I hear screams. I bolt behind a tree. A woman with brown muddy leaf-covered hair runs around. She screams for a bit. She has ragged clothes on and no shoes. There is blood on her feet and on the bottom of her dress. She starts punching a tree and runs off in a direction. I am freaking the fuck out. I run in the opposite direction to her. I fall down a hill. I gotta grab my pistol. I fall down into a taped off area. There was police everywhere. All in all, I had rolled into a murder scene. The bodies were already bagged and taken away, but evidence was being looked for. I was taken in and questioned. I mentioned the person I saw, but police were also very curious of what I was doing. Police then took me home, halfway across the state.